Hello, hello, hello. So, I'm here. I've tried this several times and I've not done a very good job, and maybe I'm just not a good tutorial type of person. But we're looking at character creation. I have primarily vanilla presets here. I do have a green girl preset, but we're not going to look at that right now. And I do have better male presets, but we're not going to look at those either right now. So I just want to take you through kind of like what I do to create a character, especially now that I'm not using the R246 presets. I've got to make do in my own way. Now I will show you the mods I have that I am using, such as Aesthetic Elves, when we're done, okay? But even if you don't use Aesthetic Elves, you'd use largely the same principles and ideas that I'm doing here. It's really not anything complicated. First off, just set the body and the skin tone the way you want. Choose a preset that you like. That's actually the very first thing. So if you look at these presets, come through and try to find a face that you think already looks pretty close to what you envision, and like ignore the war paint and the hairdo and stuff like that. Just try to find something that's similar. I tend to prefer this one or that one, so I usually start with one of these two. So just for argument's sake, I'm going to start with this one here. I'm just going to do what I always do. I like to start with a clean slate, so I actually get rid of all this. And then I can come back and add that in if I want it for any reason later. And then here, the first thing I do here is I try to get rid of all the color, because sometimes they just have a bunch of color on things and it doesn't help. It actually kind of muddies the water. So once you get rid of that, and you get a look at their profile and see what you think, you can start looking at changing some things. Now I don't get into changing these things. When you get into all this stuff, unless you really know what you're after, you can cause yourself a lot of trouble. This I might adjust a little bit if I think I need to, but most of the times I just choose a type that I like. The same with the eyes. I usually just choose a shape I like and a color I like. I don't usually dig into all these things, depth, width, height, because you can really create a monstrosity without meaning to. Then I do play around with these, but a lot of times I like to start again with like a clean slate. Now that looks like a really hooded eye. Now if you do leave a hooded eye like that, then go ahead and try to maximize some of your makeup here, because that'll make the eyes stand out a little more. But let's just start with a clean slate and see what we get. We still might come back to this. I don't know that I'm going to keep this eye, but even just this can help in that corner, if you see what I mean. So then on the brows, I'm not anywhere near done. I'm just doing a quick run through. Then on the brows, try to choose. Now for elves, sometimes I'll do the no brow look, but on this elf that doesn't really look very good. Do a lighter, a less bushy brow is usually better. Now, and depending on your makeup, sometimes I actually use this little pointed up eyebrow. I'll show you that, but normally I don't. Normally a lighter curved brow that runs along the ridge is better. These really thick things aren't so good unless you're doing a guy. Now if you're doing a guy and you want a good thick brow, that's kind of fun. Can be kind of crazy. But for the girls, I find something like this is usually, I think that's the one I use the most. Mouth, again, you pick the shape and you pick the color. I don't usually mess with the forward and stuff. Usually I like that color, but it does depend on what you're making. Sometimes you may change that and not use that color. There are some good colors, like if you're going for a more dark appearance, you can definitely do that color. And sometimes this color is good, but I usually use that color. Now this is off from a vanilla thing. You can get a mod that will give you more colors, but I was trying to do this as mod free as possible, because once you add in mods and get in a lot more colors, then it makes your choices, you have a lot more choices, but it doesn't really change what you're doing. And I do have a mod for like hair, and we're going to give her some real hair. This is terrible. Let's see, that's the green girl hair. We won't give her that though. Let's see, let's give her that, and let's give her a hair color that will stand out a little bit. I know some people do not appreciate it when they can't tell what I'm doing, so I'm just going to go with that, okay? Because she's an elf, I kind of want the ears to show a little bit anyway. Now let's go back and start. We have basically a clean slate here. Now I don't usually change any of this unless I decide I want some war paint. Now if I do, I usually try to choose something that I think is going to go with my character. Most of these I don't like that much, so I wouldn't choose these. But if you wanted something like that, let's say you wanted to do something like that, well then if you do that, choose a color to make it, I don't know, interesting. Like maybe that purple. Maybe make it interesting. Do that purple. This might require a hair color change, but let's just roll with that for a moment. Humor me. Now, nose wise, I'm neither really liking or hating that nose. It's like it's okay. I think I like that better overall. Gives you a little better profile, and it looks okay up front. Oh, that might be a little better. The profile's a little different, but yeah, that might actually be a little better. It's okay on the profile. You kind of have to look and see what you like. I think I'm going to go with that for now. Now you could change the length a little bit if you wanted to. I'm not going to, at least not at this point. We'll see. Probably won't change it at all. I usually don't. I usually try to give them just a little cheek color, but I don't add any of the other color because I just don't like it. It's too much. Eyes. So we want something that will stand. Let's see. Hold on. Let's look at the eye shape. What's going to go good with this makeup? You want some bigger eyes, honestly. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. That's pretty big, too. This can be different based on the race a little bit. But some eye shapes stay. That's pretty big. But I think I liked that better with this war paint, and which means I'm probably not going to do any makeup because the war paint really takes the place of it for you, if you notice that. So I'm probably going to, do we want to lose the brow? Maybe we'll do that. That's not bad. Let's do... Remember me telling you, sometimes that is more appropriate. And see, with that war paint, that looks a little better. We might have to change our hair color too. Now, mouth shape, you can do whichever ones you like. I like the fuller ones myself. That one was fine. I don't see any problem with it. That one's not awful, but not great for her. There's one out here. This one's pretty good. It it does produce a little bit of a thing on the profile. Depends on what you like. I think we're going to go back. That's not bad. I think we're going to go back to about what we had. That one right there is really good all around. I think we're going to stick with that for her. Alright, so now on this, the color, I need to change this up a little bit. That's basically just let's see, I don't have enough hair colors probably. So I'm going to go, it's a hard choice to pick something that really goes with that. I think I almost need a dark. We could try the white. I just don't know that the white's going to be very good. And red didn't seem right, but the dark looks pretty good. Well, we could do the dark red and see what we think of it. Now, the eye color, I didn't choose an eye color, and I forgot about that. I was going to try to pick something. I do like the purple, but in this case, a green might be better. See how that just kind of stands out? The purple looks good, but with the with the war paint, it doesn't stand out as much. Oh, you could do that. Whew, that's weird, but you could. I'm going to go with the green, though. Alright, so that's basically what I do is I come through and I try to change basic things. I try not to change too much. And I do try to check the profile and make sure I'm not making anything that looks too weird. Though sometimes I'll show you some that I've done, that I've got ready. And sometimes they still look a little here or there, a little weird. But that's the wood elf. Now I've played around, and this is a red guard. Now this is not, I'm not sure that I really perfectly like this one, but I don't know, I like it pretty good. It's like I need to work on it just a little more, but it is nice. And you can see some of the different values I used. I just kept the clean slate there. And I used, now it could be that maybe I just need to change the nose or the eyes. I'm not sure yet. Maybe the nose needs to change, but nonetheless, and we could do a different nose. Did that help? You know what? This is one of those cases where if you do a little shorter nose for the profile, this would be a good nose. Okay, that's better. There we go. Sometimes just a little tweak will make a big difference. So there we got that. I like the eyes. With different races and different colors and things you do, you may change your eye shape back and around. I usually prefer the bigger, more open eyes. The brows, I tend to stick with the brows that are thinner and usually curved. The mouth, I tend to stick with the same mouths, and I'm really finding that this one over here is probably the best, but depends on what you like. You can see my settings here. And then the hair is going to vary. That's KS hairdos. So the hair is going to vary, and the hair color is going to vary. And some of you can't see this because it's so dark, but if I can lighten it up, it's just a kind of a braid and a tail. But I was going to keep her hair dark. You could make it white. You could try to go for a storm type of appearance, I suppose. Anyway. So that's red guard, and it just shows you some values there. I don't mess with orcs. And this is a Nord, and you can see the preset on each of these. If you look, let me go back. You can see the preset I chose. I chose that preset there. If you look at that bar, And the same with the wood elf. It shows what preset I chose, and it gets saved what I did here. And you can do this. You can come through and change all of them and decide what you like the best before you finish. You can take hours doing your character creation. So that's the preset I used. I don't want to change that. And then again, I started off with a pretty clean slate. I didn't do much different there. I started with that nose, and you'll notice I left that nose. I don't know, for her I thought this looked good, but it depends on what you like. You know, you're going to have to decide what you want. I give them a little cheek color, and that's about all. I don't like all the other colors. I went with a different eye shape, but I liked it for this girl, and of course that eye color. Other than that, I put this all the way over to the side, to the right, because this time I felt like that helped her eyes. It's going to vary somewhat. The brow, you can tell I went with a different brow, but it's still a curved brow. It's not too bushy. This mouth is different, but I liked that. But we could go back over to the other mouth and see if we like it, but I'm going to leave it. I think she's okay like this. It's good to have variety. And the lip color is probably the same. Hair, you can see since she's a Nord, I just went with the blonde hair. And this is using KS Hairdo's Light, so you may or may not have this particular hairstyle. So you have to make your own choices there. I didn't mess with Khajiits. I did an Imperial. You'll notice all these are a little different, but all of these have at least a preset somewhere that you can find that'll give you a decent start. You may have to mess with it and look at it to see what's underneath what they've done. And this girl, I don't know. I think she turned out pretty good. It's very subjective though. It depends on what you like. So I just added a little cheek color for her. You'll notice I didn't do a lot there. I changed up her eyes, and again for her eyes I moved all these over. I don't always do that. A lot of times I don't, but it depends on the character and what helps. What I feel helps, let's put it that way. And then the brow, you notice another thin brow. And mouth, I went with that color, and I went with that mouth shape. Now that, I don't usually go with that mouth shape, but I did. Just for fun, just to do something different. And then hair, again, this is KS Hairdo's, I just went with a different hair color. So this is just a quick rundown to give you an idea, and you can always look at these values and compare it to what you're doing and see what you think. I like to start with a clean slate, but you could always add whatever you want to your person. That's up to you. If you wanted to add scars and stuff, I just don't usually do that. The high elf is a hard one. Okay, it's a hard one to do. There's just not a lot of good presets for them. But I think this came off okay. Not sure that I'm totally thrilled with it, but it's not awful. She looks pretty good. And I even gave her a little cheek color, which I don't always do for the elves. It just depends. I did give her the weird eyes, but I kind of like that for her. And you notice she has some war paint. This is an unusual thing for me, but I did some war paint, and I kind of used it in conjunction with some makeup. So, because you'll notice here, I did give her a little makeup. I gave her what I felt matched that war paint. So, let's see, brow. Yeah, the brow. I gave her the little up-pointed brow, but it's still a skinny brow. And then the mouth, I went with that shape again, which I don't usually use that a lot, but I did in this case. You could change that up to be different. And I gave her a different lip color. I thought that was better. And then hair, and I went with the hair colors. I don't have a lot to choose from right now, so I'm just showing you what I can. I want it to show up in the video, so I'm trying to make it not all black. Okay. Okay, so, and then for a dark elf, I did similar. I chose a preset. You can see that about in the middle. There's two presets in the middle that are really good. I chose a slightly different skin tone, and then I started out with everything cleared, and I left it that way. And then I added this little bit of color here, and let's see, and I left all that non-colored, and then I chose that eye shape and eye color. I didn't really do anything else here except move this over so it would make the eyes pop out a little better. And then brow, you can't see her brow, but it's one of the thin brows. And then the mouth color, I went with that because I gave her the purple eyes that I like. And I gave her a different mouth shape, as you can see. But you could change that up. And I think overall she's okay. On the profile, I might shorten her nose up a little. Yeah, I might. But she's not bad. So, and then Breton is very similar to things I've done before. You'll notice the preset. And I kept her pretty clean. She actually looks kind of Nordish, doesn't she? But that's okay. Nonetheless, you get the idea. That's what I do with all of these. I just wanted to make her eyes stand out. And I wanted to do something different, so I gave her a different eye shape. And a curved brow type. Similar mouth shape that I've used. I might change some of that up. But nonetheless, just to give you an idea, that's what I was going with. So I hope this has been somewhat helpful. That's about all I can do. I'm not really the best at this, but just to show you, just picking some changes and do what you can. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.